All right, guys. So this last little part here is kind of common questions. Again, sorry, it got so kind of blurred out, but I'll kind of read it. I definitely remember it all. So before you work out, what should I eat? Um, any type of protein source or kind of carbohydrate source. You want something that's going to give you enough energy, but not make you feel sluggish or full, especially doing types of CrossFit workouts or things like that. So if you work out in the morning, I recommend doing what I used to do because I used to work out at 5 a.m. all the time. Is either a scoop of peanut butter, a piece of toast with peanut butter on it, a protein shake. The whole point is to get some type of glucose in your system so you can use that for energy. Now, if you work out at night, it just kind of varies on the last time you ate lunch, but same kind of concept. So something just small, whether it be fruit, again, something just to get you going. What should I work out? Or sorry, what should I eat after I work out? This is kind of called that window of opportunity. And if you look at science, it's anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes after your workout that where your body rips all those muscle fibers from working out and from weightlifting and cardio or whatever aspect that is. Your body's looking to refuel. So this is where your biggest source of proteins and carbohydrates should be. So that's usually works out for people because it's either right in the morning and then they eat a big breakfast, or it's right after or right before dinner and then they go home and eat that big source. So questions about caffeine, small doses. So it's one of those things where caffeine's okay. Some people don't do it. Other people do. That kind of goes along back to that coffee talk. So coffee's okay, but not the stuff from Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, where you get a iced coffee with like 8,000 sugar, packets in it and a bunch of creamer. The more you can kind of stay away from those and frappuccinos, and I get all that stuff, so I know what it's like, the better. So if you drink just black coffee with like some sugar and cream, it's not going to kill you. Just don't drink like 8 pots of it a day. Beer or alcohol. So what I put was it's fun. Everyone enjoys it if you do drink, but the biggest thing is such a waste of calories. Again, it's not one of those things where most people don't just have 1 or 2 beers. It's anywhere from 5 to 10 plus. So you want to think of one beer as basically like almost 7 pieces of bread. Now, again, you can argue the style of bread and kind of things like that, but it basically is almost true in the sense of the type of calories you're consuming from it and then just the amount. Most beer has at least 100 calories per thing. So if you're going to drink, I recommend doing more of a liquor base and not drinking too much beer. The less you can drink of it, the better, obviously. Cheat meals. So again, like I said, in the 80-20 rule, 1 per week. But that's kind of after results, can start to be seen. The biggest thing with this is you kind of allow cheat meals from the beginning. You kind of get in that little bad habit where it might happen more than once. Again, all goes back to that self-discipline. So again, I recommend being awesome for 30 days and being strict as possible, and then start introducing those little things. Again, I've been playing around with my diet for 6+ years now, so I know exactly what works and what doesn't. It's just my own self-discipline and kind of things like that. Should I skip meals if I'm hungry? No. So a lot of people skip breakfast. I used to be that person, so I know what it's like. The biggest thing it does is slows your metabolism down. That leads to excess fat storage and not reaching your goals. So the biggest thing, even if you're not super hungry, get a protein shake in, at least something to keep your metabolism going and also getting enough protein in your day, but things like that. Should I do low carb diets for long periods of time? So with the whole kind of carb argument, every, industry has something that it changes that it's kind of hated against. So again, if you go back to the 80s, 90s, it was all a war on fat. Low fat diets were the biggest thing back then, but it's one of those things where as if you look at it now, they were totally wrong. Low fat diet isn't actually good for you at all. It's bad for you. If you look at a lot of kind of standard or CrossFit Games athletes, they eat a high protein, high fat diet and a low carb diet. So it's one of those things where, we can talk. If you have more questions, you can talk about carb cycling, kind of things like that. It's a little bit more advanced than kind of just the basics. But the more carbs you can cut out, the better. It's one of those things where, again, most people eat way too many carbohydrates in their day, and you have all this extra energy or calories that they don't use, and it just stores as fat. So the more carbs you can kind of take out in the beginning, the faster you'll kind of drop weight. But the biggest thing is not to take carbs completely out. And a lot of people do that. The problem when you do that for a long period of time, eventually your leptin levels drop, which is a level in your body. And what happens is leptin keeps your metabolism or those metabolic effects going. So it's kind of at least better if you're going to do carb cycling, and we'll talk about that, to have, one high day, one low day of carbs, and then one 0 day of carbs, and kind of different sets. So I played around with that. That works awesome too. It's very hard to keep on track because you have to be very disciplined about that, because that turns into, 6 high carb days and 1 low carb day. So it's better to just keep a moderate amount or keep it lower. So should my food be the same on the days I work out versus days I don't? So I like to kind of use it as kind of trainings. That's what I call working out days. So the days you train, your food should be higher with a higher carbohydrate count. Now, the days you don't work out, it shouldn't look that way. You should take more carbs out, eat a little bit less. The whole point is because you're not working out, you don't need a bigger source of food. And the way I have these set is more for kind of a mix of both. So we'll talk about that kind of more per person there. Let me go back up here. So my next question was, will I get bulky if I do CrossFit? This is more for girls more than guys. No. So if you ever see a CrossFit Games athlete, I know they're super, super ripped. The thing with that is I couldn't even make you look that way if I tried. Those people train for, 4+ hours a day. They do multiple workouts in a day. We used to work out that way, so I know what it's like. It's very rigorous on your body. And simple weightlifting will not do that. So weightlifting is what leads to tone. You have to have that muscle and then lose that fat to see that kind of tone. So why does CrossFit work better than most workouts? The thing with most workouts you'll see is, and why I love CrossFit is, you go into a normal gym, you're by yourself typically, you go in on a treadmill or go to the weightlifting section, put in your headphones, you don't talk to anyone. Now, the biggest thing with that is more of the psychological, is that right? More of the social aspect, where people get demotivated. It's one of those things where even when I work out by myself, it's the same thing. You want that push from all those other people to actually keep you on track. So one is just the sense of actually working out consistently. But then the other half is when you combine that weightlifting aspect with the high intensity aspect, you're getting that weightlifting training that most people don't get, but you're also moving at a higher intensity that most people would not normally do. So again, it just kind of depends on the person, but you're typically, before CrossFit, again, it's one of those things where unless you're in the army or kind of have that kind of predisposed kind of experience, that type of working out, most people have never done stuff like that before. So the high intensity part does burn a lot more than just doing kind of steady cardio. And the last kind of question I get is, there's a secret trick. It's not. The secret trick, if you want it, is consistency. The more consistent you are with eating every single day and working out, again, at least 3 times minimum, the faster you'll see results, the faster things will come. So again, if you're one of those people who works out twice a week, eats good 3 days out of the week, yeah, you still might see your results, but it's going to be a hell of a lot slower compared to someone who's working out 4 to 5 days a week and eating a lot better. So it just kind of depends. But that's the secret trick. There's nothing beats hard work, and I wish there was a secret trick, but there's not. So some tips and tricks are, the more you can eat the same foods day to day, the better. You'll stay right on track with things. Also keeping the same kind of workout days. If you work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're more likely to go those days if those are the days you can only work out. So kind of just getting kind of the routines of with the eating and the working out. Think of your body kind of like a bank. Every time you eat something good or work out, think of your depositing money. Think of every time you eat something bad or don't work out, you take a shitload of money away. So it's one of those things where you can't blame the bank for taking your money away. It's the more work you put into it, the more money you'll have or faster results come. So it's one of those things where don't blame the system or blame, the style of training. Any style of training will work. It's just depends on how much effort and work you actually put in. If you have any questions, guys, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'm always open to talk about nutrition if you have more questions. So hopefully this helps. Let me see if it